Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the last session, and in this session we will discuss something about web workers, and I will try to clear some doubts if you have regarding the jQuery and CSS. And before we start this, if someone has any questions regarding session that finished in the morning, the session regarding the jQuery mobile, then you can ask your questions. Otherwise, we will start next one. Anyone has any doubt regarding jQuery mobile, then we can discuss, or I will proceed for the next session. So no questions? Okay, then I will start next topic. This is a small topic which we are covering in this course, that is related to introducing web workers. Before we start to discuss this lesson, first I want to say something like, for example, just think a scenario. For example, you are trying to access a web page, and maybe you are trying to upload a picture. Okay, you are trying to upload a picture, or maybe you think that you are working on a web page, and in that web page you have to display, or you want to set your profile picture, maybe anywhere, maybe let's say for example of any web like a social website. Now what you want to do is you want to put a picture on your maybe that web page, and once you try to upload that picture, the other part of the web page become idle. You are not able to perform any action until that uploading is finished. Okay, so this usually happens because when you run any web page, it always run inside the only one thread, that is a main thread. Every program runs under the main thread. So whenever you start to run that program, that web page, it runs under the main thread, and when main thread is performing that action, like you are trying to maybe upload the picture, or maybe download the picture, or maybe change the picture, or maybe you are trying to change the format of maybe one heavy string from one to another format. So at that time it happens that main thread is doing his process, and whenever you try to interact with the same page, it does not allow you to do anything because the process is going on, and you need to wait for that process to finish. Okay, so this usually happens. Sometimes, for example, I think another scenario, I am using a social maybe website, and on that website maybe I will post my tweets or blogs, and at the same time I also want to maybe see, or maybe I want to just access the blogs of the other famous personalities. Now think that again, if I have only one main thread in my web page, and if I am trying to post a thread, while I am trying to post a thread, I cannot see other person's tweets, because at that time when I try to post, it may be my computer or my server is busy to process that request. Another example I can explain to you. For example, just think that you have one web page, and in that web page maybe you want to compute the numbers, some of the numbers, and then some of the numbers maybe begin from, let's say, from 1 to maybe 40 lakh, or maybe 50 lakh, or very big number. Now think that when you try to compute a value from 0 to 40 lakh, Okay, so it must take the time. So I want that now, that whenever I have a situation like this, so at that time it's like, not like if one process is going on, my whole web page will become an idle and I cannot interact with my web page. So the web worker is an answer of all these problems. We use web workers in our website technology, so that if I have a scenario like this, one process will work on the background, and the front end is available for me to interact with that page. Okay, so I will start this session now. What is the concept of web workers? I already explained. If you did not understand, then you can raise your queries, or otherwise I will also explain this in this session again, something more about this web workers. So I will start from the first here. First, try to consider a scenario of web page that display tweets of a famous personalities, as I said in the example, and allows user to submit their tweets. The web page uses JavaScript to fetch the tweets of famous personalities. As I said in the example, I am trying to maybe post the tweets, and at the same time I also want to access, or I also want to get the tweets from another famous personalities. While the process is going on, either I can post the tweets, or either I can get the tweets. So this is something which I am saying, there are not only one process, there are two processes. So he said, in this scenario, the ideal solution will be to enable a user to submit a tweet on accessing the page, instead of making him or her wait till the page fetches and display the tweets of famous personalities. Actually, if I will say how this process happens, I will try to explain this on the paper so that you can better understand. So just try to understand that maybe you are trying to use one web page, and that web page maybe consists of a form, and you have some fields given in your this form, and now let's say, for example, this is the name. You try to enter the name, okay, and you made a web page on maybe something like, when you try to maybe entered, okay. So after that, if I try to browse, okay, and I try to browse, and maybe I choose the path, and I maybe then enter the number, and maybe I am using one submit button over here, okay, and I will press this submit button so that these informations can go to my backend server. Now think that over here in your web page there are some other things which you can do, or some actions, or something which you can perform over here. But once you clicked on this one, okay, so when you try to run this page, this whole page is running under the main thread, and in your this web page you have a two process, okay. Now first process is this. Maybe you want to submit this data to maybe the backend server, maybe data server, and once you try to click the submit button over here, this process will start, and this main thread is trying to take your data from this place to your backend server. So your main thread is busy to process this request, and you try to interact with your web page over here, and you found that your page become idle. You are not able to do anything. So this is something, there is a limitation. and you want to overcome from this limitation. So what you want to do is, whenever you have a situation like this, you will use a web worker, and for example, this is a web worker over here, and you want that, for example, let's say this form, you want that when someone is trying to submit this button, that process will not perform under the main thread, that process will perform under another thread, okay, so that whatever user is doing on this page, he can continue his process to do that, okay. So rather than running this script in the main thread, we will try to run that script in another thread, so that the main thread will continue to process your request. So this is actually the concept of your web workers. Now I want to use this web workers, okay, and what is a web worker? I'm going to explain this now. Actually, web workers are the background script executed using isolated threads that runs independently of other scripts. Just with the example I explained to you, that maybe you are trying to access a web page, and maybe you want that in that web page there is one process, you want to run that on a separate thread. So instead of running that whole process in a main thread, we will try to run that particular process in a separate thread and as a web worker. So how web worker helps me in the website development? So web worker runs on a separate thread and are resource intensive for the browser, as the browser needs to create and manage a multiple thread. So as I said, if I have a situation like this, what I will do is I will create a web worker, and that process I will run on a separate thread using the web worker, and my main thread will start to continuously work. Now there are situations where I must consider to use web workers, like you can see on the picture, encoding and decoding of large string. As you can see that maybe in somewhere in a web page, maybe I want to decode a string to maybe another format, and that string is very big string, so it might take 1 minute or 2 minutes, and you want that your while this process is going on, your user is still able to interact with your web page. I will recommend to use a web workers. Then parsing or formatting large documents. Maybe you want to change the format of maybe some contents, or maybe you want to compile something. Okay, so compiling something, parsing something, and maybe that process will take much time. So at that time, better we can use a web workers. Performing a complex calculation, just like for example, as I said, maybe you want to calculate the sum of numbers begin from 0 to maybe 40 lakh, and of course it will take time. So rather than running this on my main thread, I will try to run in a web worker. Then we have manipulating images. As I said, maybe you are trying to upload the picture on your maybe social networking site, let's say for example a Facebook, and when you try to load that picture on your web page, maybe the size of the picture is very big. First thing is, it will take a time. Second thing is, maybe they will ask you to crop the image. So while you are performing all these things, other process is not going to happen, because that other process is waiting for this process to finish. So it means to say is, you want that this thing not happen, and we can use a web worker. Then we have a performing input and output operations. At time maybe you are trying to make input, or maybe you are trying to get output from the system, and maybe that process is taking much time. So rather than let other user to keep waiting for a long time, it's always better than we can use a web worker, so that user can perform his work, whatever process you want to do. and at the same time the back end your process is also continue. Okay, then requesting data from other source such as a web service. You are trying to connect with a web service. Think that if this is a situation, maybe your computer will connect to the server first, and then that server will connect to the web service, and then you will get a response. Meanwhile, it is taking so much time. So if it is taking so much time, and you know that whenever this process is going on, other person can or other process can continue to work. I can use this. And then last topic is caching the data. So maybe you want to store the data somewhere. Okay, like I give the example, maybe the storage, local storage or something like that, or maybe you want to store data in your cache memory. Okay, so all these things we usually do in our website development, and whenever we perform these operations, if I'm not using a web worker, obviously my website user, he or she has to be patient and let that process finish, and then he or she can continue to work. Okay, so this is the use of web worker. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sunil.
Good afternoon. Sir, I have a question that. Good afternoon. Sorry. Sir, I have a question that web workers are making AJAX calls. Is that true, sir?
It's not that I'm making an AJAX call. It is basically trying to run a script on another thread, not on the main thread.
Okay, sir. Means to say that a web page has threads. It means to say that, no, sir?
Yeah, so whenever you start any process on your computer, yes
sir.
Your program always run under the main thread.
Yes, sure, sir. Sure.
Okay, your program always run under the main thread. Now think that if you are having a very big web page, and in that web page maybe you have a different process. Yes. So
yes.
If all process are running under the main thread, so what will happen? Maybe the first process finished, you try to perform the second operation, and the second process is taking maybe time, maybe one minute or 2 minutes,
yes.
And meanwhile you are not able to do anything. You need to be patient, and then you need to just wait to let that process finish, and then you can perform another process.
Yes.
So I want to avoid that.
Fine.
For example, let's say I give an example. You are maybe changing the format of one very big string to another, and while this process is going on, maybe you need to wait for a time. Let's say, for example, you have to upload the audio file in your maybe in your web page. Okay.
Yes, sir, sure.
Now think that you want to upload the audio, but the format which you are trying to upload is not supported in your maybe in that website. So there is one option given to you that okay, if you don't have this version of audio file or this format of audio file, you can do one thing. You can you can change the format of the audio file from this link, and you try to do what you upload the path of that. You give the path of that audio file, and then you try to change the maybe the format of that audio file. Now think that when you are trying to change the format, of course it will take a time. Yes, that was another process. You are doing that. You are trying to upload the audio file, but you started another process, that is to change the format of the audio file. So two different processes now. See, first what will happen? First it will maybe it will take a time to change the whole file format to maybe MP4 to MP3, and while this process is going on, you are not able to do anything. Your web page is not interactive. Okay, so it's just like a disabled page. So once it is finished, then you are able to perform some action. Yes,
sir.
So basically, web worker is a concept, means you are not trying to run the whole script in a main thread.
Okay.
You will do what? It is just like a multi-threading we use in Java. Okay,
Yes, sir.
the same thing I'm trying to
Yes, sir.
explain here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir. So the thing is that we are getting
Okay.
multiple using this web
Yeah, yeah,
worker,
yeah, yeah.
and
You can simply think
so
that we are trying to use a multi-threading concept over
yes.
here.
Another question, sir, is that let's, for example, want to upload multiple files to the server, it may can
Hmm.
create two web workers for that case. If I want to upload two files on the server, same time I have
Hmm.
to web for that purpose, no sir?
See, later it depends which kind of web workers you are using.
Yeah, but types
The
also.
Okay, there are two type of web workers. One is dedicated and one is shared workers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that I will
So,
come. That on that concept I will come later.
so sir, the thing is that totally new, or is it being earlier implemented also using some other thing in the HTML also? I mean, this is totally new concept, or it is being implemented earlier also using some other technology or whatever?
HTML5 concept. HTML5 concept.
Fine, fine. Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Hello? Yeah, sir.
Hello.
Am I audible? Yeah, hello, sir. Am I audible?
Hello.
Yeah, sir. Hello? Am I
Hello. Can you hear
audible,
me?
sir, now? Yeah, sir. I'm able to hear you.
Please try to connect with Varsha. Oh my God.
Sir? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, sir.
Yes. Please
Hello?
ask the question.
Yeah. Yeah, sir, actually, I can compare this with worker, we are, if any process which is actually taking time, or the process which I want to separate from the other task in a
Mm-hmm.
page, so I can put it into a web worker. So like
Mm-hmm.
that way I can correlate, sir,
Yeah. See, like
so that I
in
can do simultaneously, like
yeah, yeah,
multi-threading the
yeah, yeah.
concept.
This is just for that because I don't want to let my user, whoever is using my web page, I don't want to let that person wait for a long time. I want that if there is a process which might take a long time, I want to make sure that that process will run on another thread, not on the main thread. So the concept is same as the multi-threading concept we use in programming. We try to run multiple threads, okay, and multiple thread means multiple process, okay. So same concept is over here. If I have a very big web page, and maybe in that web page I have maybe different processes, and maybe I want to make sure that if one process is taking much time, I want that because I know that I'm making a web, so I know that this process can take a longer period of time, and at that time maybe my user maybe feel that this website is not that good because it let the user wait for a long time. Okay, so because there are some processes which usually take time. For example, you are trying to upload a picture, you are trying to download a picture, or you are trying to change the format of something. Okay, so usually these processes always take time, and you cannot make it shorten. So in that situation, I need to use a web workers.
And so this is
Okay.
actually this is basically in a HTML5. This is the concept of HTML5,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
sir?
yeah.
So and it is using scripting that is also
We
client
use
side.
this web worker is just like because actually this is the concept of JavaScript. Think,
Okay.
this is basically a concept of a JavaScript. Okay, we use with HTML here, HTML5, and we use this JavaScript. Concept is basically of JavaScript because processing HTML is not doing this process. Understand my meaning? Actually, HTML is not doing anything. Who is doing this is something which is I'm doing with the help of JavaScript and jQuery. So you can say basically it is a concept of Java query rather than I will say HTML.
Okay.
Because I am doing some process, and the process I can handle only with the help of JavaScript or a jQuery.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I will move next now. If anyone have a questions, then you can ask. Before we start this, something about the web workers. As you can see on the screen, this is web worker is something is called, we can call it a process which runs on a separate thread. Okay, and it works in a background where we can use web workers. So you can find on the screen, these are the areas where we use web workers. Okay, basically it is, you can relate this concept with the multi-threading. Okay, now coming to my next part here. As I said, web workers are of two types. Just think a scenario. You want that you create one web worker. Okay, so you want that only one person, when one person is trying to access that web worker, no other person can try to access that. So I will call it a dedicated web worker, mean only one-to-one. Okay, and another scenario you can see that just for example, just think one example is, let's say you are creating one web for shopping, or you want to sell some products. Okay, so now one person is trying to access one page. That page is related to maybe electronic parts, means someone is trying to buy the electronic parts. Okay, and you have created one web worker to compute the total price of the parts which he bought. Okay, now at the same time there is another person who is trying to access the same website, but he is not trying to access the electronic. Maybe he is trying to access a page which is related to home appliances. When he is trying to use a home appliances, and a person who made this web, he used the same web worker to compute the values, price of the component, the things he bought on maybe in another page. So it means to say is, you are using the same web worker, and that same web worker will work on different web pages. Okay, so it means that is shared by more than one web pages. Okay, so I repeat again, dedicated web worker means a single page. Okay, we are trying to connect with a single page. Shared web worker means that web worker you can access using the multiple web pages. A dedicated web worker, you can see, perform functions for a execution, and shared, you can see, enable each web page to access a single web worker. Then is whenever you want to create a dedicated, either you can create that in a JavaScript file, or you can write that in your script code. You know, script HTML, you wrote a script tag in your HTML page, and then you are writing the coding for your dedicated web worker. Okay, so it's fine, one page. But when you are trying to create a shared web worker, it means that that page multiple users are going to use. So that must be a JavaScript file, and that JavaScript file other people will use. Okay. So this is something I explained something about web workers. I repeat again just for a quick review. Web worker means it is something which can help me to run the process in the background. Okay, and in a separate thread rather than in the main thread, so that maybe more than one process can work at the same time. And the concept behind using is, I don't want to let my user to wait for a long time. Okay, I want that all the time my user can interact with my web page. Okay, two types, dedicated and shared. Okay, dedicated is always one-to-one, and shared is you can use multiple web pages to connect with that web worker. Okay, now coming to this next slide, before I start to use the web workers, I need to ensure that whether my web browser supports web workers or not. You know, before I start to use web worker in my web browser, the concept I need to clear is that whether my browser which I am using, maybe the Chrome, maybe the it supports the web workers or not. So for that I have one code given over here. You can see a type of is one operator we use in a JavaScript. Okay, and when I'm saying if type of, so worker is one object which is used to create a web workers. So a dedicated web workers, you can say. So if I'm saying if type of worker not is undefined, I told you earlier that in JavaScript or in jQuery, when you are saying undefined means something that is not defined in the program. So I'm saying if type of is an operator in the JavaScript, type of worker not equal to undefined, then you will get a message that yes, your browser support the web workers. Otherwise, you will get a message that your web browser does not support the web workers. So it is always good practice whenever you start to make your this code or you try to use a web worker. First thing is ensure that whether your browser support or not. Okay. So how to do that? To validate this, you need to write this coding. Now, coming to next part here, how to create a web worker. Okay. The first example which I am going to use is for my dedicated web worker. Okay, dedicated web worker. So he said, if you want to use a dedicated web worker, you need to use a object named worker, and in that worker you need to write the name of the JavaScript file. Okay, so I'm saying where test worker equal to new worker, and the worker script is that web worker file. Okay, that I can use. Then when I use a dedicated web worker, I have one method over here which is post message. Why do you use post message? You can see it is used to post a message from a web page to a web worker. This thing, for example, I have created a web page, and from that web page I want to send a message to a web worker. Okay, so I will use what? I will use a post message. In JavaScript, post message method, okay, post message method in JavaScript is used to just like float a message that message any web page in your website can access that. Okay, just try to understand my meaning. Post message mean what? It means that this is a JavaScript function which I will use to float a message in my website. So whoever is using my website can access that. Okay, that is it. So same thing is over here, because web worker is also inside my website, and my web page is also in my website. So whenever I will use a post message and I will float a message in my website, another program who is a web worker, he can read that message. Okay, so a post method is used for that. Terminate is there. Sometimes if I am trying to use a web worker, like we use a thread, and at point of time maybe I want to terminate my thread. So same thing over here, maybe you want to terminate your web worker, you can call a terminate method. Okay, so repeat again, post method, it will help me to post a message from maybe one page to another page. Okay, so usually here I'm using this post message so that maybe at point of time I want to send a message from my web worker to a web page to a web worker. Okay. Now find the coding given on the screen. I'm trying to make a worker. Okay, so you can find that I'm trying to say enter your name. Better I will explain this on my this computer. I hope you can see my screen. And you will find one program in this. website named is dedicated worker. Okay, so I will say launch in browser. Just seeing that this is my web page, and in this web page I want to give a message. I'm saying enter your name. So when I click on this, I want to send this value to my web worker. Okay, so and when that web worker will receive that value, maybe I will try to access the value which maybe my web worker sent to my web page. Means not only one-way communication, I want maybe the two-way communication. First I want to send this data from here to web worker, and then from web worker I want to get the data and I want to display on my web page. So I will click on this, and when I click on this, you can see this hello and this Sukesh. This Sukesh I'm writing over here, but this I haven't wrote this one hello. So this is coming from my web worker. So what is happening? I'm sending a message to my web worker, and web worker will receive that message, and then my web worker will send that to me, and I will receive that message, and then I will display this message on my screen. Okay, how this is happening? Let's try to understand. It's not very hard to understand. It's a very easy concept. So think that I have a web worker. What is the name of the web worker? Named is web_worker. This is the name of my file. And where is this? This file is over here. Okay. Now, before I explain this message to you, I will come to my HTML file first. And what is written in the HTML file, I will explain that. See this place. I'm giving a message, enter your name. I have an input text, ID name, size is, input type equal to button value is sent, and on click I call a function named web worker demo. So it is over here, web worker demo. Okay. Try to understand, very simple concept. I said variable name. I use a name variable inside the JavaScript. I said document.getElement by ID ename.value. It meaning to say is in my HTML page, I'm trying to locate the element using the getElement by ID function. What is the name of the element? I said ename, and I want to get the value of that. So means when I will run this, whatever I'm writing over here, this value, Puneet I'm writing over here, and after that what is going to happen here, I said this value I will store into one variable whose name is name. After that you can find over here, I'm trying to create an object of my worker. So I said worker object equal to new worker. Okay, so this is how I can create a object of my dedicated web worker. So what is the name of the instance? Name of the instance is this worker object. When I create a web worker, I need to pass the name of the JavaScript file. So name of the JavaScript file is web worker. Okay. Now I want to send a message from my HTML file to my web worker. Okay. So you can see over here I said web worker object dot post message. It means whatever I am writing inside the name, this will come to this place and it will post to my web worker. Okay. Now this is my web worker. Try to understand what's the meaning of this now. In a JavaScript here, when I use a web worker, on message is a name of the event. Okay, remember one thing is the name of the event, and this event will fire at what time? This event will fire at that time when HTML page will send a message to a web worker and web worker receive that message. If web worker receive that message, this event will automatically fire. Okay, now when this event will fire, so this function event handler. So in this I am writing a parameter E represents for event now here. Now whatever message I send from here, what was the message? The name, Punit. So that value, if I want to receive in my web worker, I will say e.data. So data is a property that I will use to retrieve the data which web page has sent to me. Okay. So now after that what I did is I said self.post message. Now you can see over here when I say self.post message. Now self means the current. Okay, like in JavaScript, self means this, like we use this. So self is means here is current. Okay, so self.post message. Now he is trying to send a message to itself. Okay, now what is the message? Hello plus e data. Now this web worker file where I have used here. Okay, so it meaning to say is when my web worker send message to itself and I want to read that message inside my HTML file now. So in my HTML5 I have created an object name is this is object and the instance name is this, and over here you can see again when my web worker will send a message to me, over here I use on message. As I said, I want to create a two-way communication. So web worker dot on message. So when web worker will send a message to this page, here I have a worker, event will fire and the event will display me what? I said document dot get element by ID. And what element I am talking about is I am talking about result. Result is one element over output is one element and ID is result. I said document dot get element by ID result dot inner HTML. I am trying to do what? I am trying to add the value. Okay, inner HTML plus equal to event dot data. So whatever the value you will write over there, you will get the message over here. Okay. See? Yes, please. Any doubts? Dedicated web workers. Ooh. Is it okay now? So you want that I will explain it later or now again? See, I will repeat again. If someone has a problem to see the screen, just try to understand my meaning over here. I will repeat again. I have created one web page. In this web page, I will write something over here. Whatever message I will write over here, I will click on this send button. And in my this web page, I have used one web worker demo function on the click event. So whatever value I will write in this input box, this value will come to this name variable, and I have created an object of web workers. And when I create a web worker object, what is the name of the file? webworker.js. So this is webworker.js. After that, I post a message, and inside the message I enter the name. This name will come to this place, and I said whenever web worker will receive a message from the HTML page, on message event will fire automatically, and he will receive the content whatever he sent, web page sent, and using e.data But what you are trying to do is you are trying to say self dot post message. So again you are trying to send this message to your web worker again, self dot post message. So what you want to post now? Hello and whatever the message you receive from your HTML page. So when you say this self dot post message, your web worker will come here and because this web page will receive the message, and over here I use a on message again. This event will fire automatically and document dot get element by the what it will do is it will display the content in my p tag using the event dot data. So whatever content I will send from there, I will receive over here. Basically I try to use the two-way communication here. I want to say that maybe at time you maybe want to send data from your HTML file to web worker and then web worker to HTML file. Okay, so this is the process. I am trying to use a single or you can say dedicated web worker. Another option I have here is about my shared web worker. So shared web worker means what? More than one page try to access that. Now think that scenario, what time I can use the shared web worker. Like I give the example, first example I gave you. This is my JavaScript coding. I'm saying self. I repeat again, self means the current object. Okay. On message is the event name equal to function. I'm creating a function. Self dot post message. Post message is used in JavaScript to float a message between the website. Within same domain you can use that. So I said self dot post message hello and whatever the data you receive from your web page. So e dot data. So when you are writing this line, it means after this your computer will come here. Okay, and what will happen, because this web page will receive a message, so on message will do this event will fire and this function will execute and document.get element by the whatever data you send from this place, the data you send from here is hello plus whatever is the name, and then that will display in my output here. Yes, please. Okay. Just try to understand. One more example I am giving of my dedicated web worker. This is my page. Just to let you people understand. What I am trying to do is over here I will say enter a number. Let's say I am trying to enter a number is this much big. Okay, and I pressed on this button. Now see, the process is going on, okay, and you can see the process is going on, and at the same time you can also again interact with this one. So one process is going on with the help of your dedicated worker, and what he is trying to do, I will put a small number. For example, I enter a 1000 or 10,000, and I said, yes, calculate the number, sum of the number until 10,000. Okay, so he gave me the message, sum is 5,000, 5,000. Okay, this is the sum. Because the process is small, my computer calculated it fast. Now, the same thing I am doing again here, and the process is a little big, and now the process starts, you can see. And at the same time, if I have some other thing to do in my this page, okay, I can perform. You can see over here, my web page is still active. It's not that my web page is inactive and I cannot perform anything over here. So this is the demo of my dedicated web worker. I tried to compute the sum of the numbers, and when my computer was trying to compute, at the same time my web page was interactive. I was able to do anything on my web page. If you find an experience sometimes on the internet, you try to maybe do some process and you found that maybe your web page is not let you do anything on that page because maybe the web worker is not applied on that page. Okay, so if web worker is applied on that page, you will not face a problem like that. Your web page will still active and maybe you can perform anything on that. Okay. We'll explain this example again here. See what is I'm doing in my dedicated web worker here. Look at the index.html file. When I try to create this example, I use one file and the file name was testworker.js. So this file is given here, testworker. Okay, and this is one method which I use to compute the sum of the numbers. Okay, sum of the numbers. So this, whenever my computer will finish to compute the sum of the numbers, it will post that message. See here, it will post that message, and this message I will receive in my index.html. Now, see here, I said before we start to use the web worker, we always try to check whether my browser supports this or not. So you can see in this program, I am coming here and I said if type of worker not equal to undefined, then app worker equal to a new worker, and this is the name of the worker file, and then I said app worker on message, because this test worker will send me the message, and whenever he will send me the message, over here I will receive the message. Okay, and whenever this message will receive, on message event will be fired, and this document not get element by ID, you will get the content. Okay. Here one more example I will explain, but on error, this time I haven't explained the on error, so I will explain this later to you. Okay, when I will finish this. This is the input value. You can see send the number to worker. This value I am trying to use with the help of this method. Send numbers to worker. So app worker dot post message whatever is the number. Okay, because I also have to send the value from my web page to my web worker. Okay, as I said, I need to create a two-way process. First I will send value from my HTML page to my web worker, and if I want to receive that value, a processed value in my HTML page, again I need to use on message event, and in my web worker I need to use a post message. Okay, coming to my second part, in my next part here I will explain how we can create a shared workers. As I said earlier that maybe when I use a shared worker means more than one web page are trying to access the same web worker. Scenario is you created one website for online shopping, you create one web worker to compute the total price of the object which someone is going to buy, but maybe a person A is trying to buy on a page 1 and maybe person 2 is trying to buy something on page 2. So that only one web worker will work. Okay, and that web worker will help me to compute the value in page 1 also and page 2 also. Okay, the concept is little different here now. Earlier I was using a worker only, now I use a shared worker. Okay, shared worker. Shared worker object means I am trying to create a shared worker. I will add the name of the file same as earlier. One more thing over here is, now see, I need to know that how many people are trying to access the same web worker. Okay, so for that in web workers we use one object that is a ports, PORTS. Okay, ports. So this will do what? This will help me to identify that I am getting a request from which place, which page. Okay, so you can find the coding over here. Just try to understand with example. Where worker equal to new shared worker. Okay, this name of the file. Now what I need to do is I will say instance.port. Okay, instance.port dot, because if someone is trying to send a request from computer 1, so I will use a port 1, and maybe someone is trying to send a request from another page is port 2. Okay, so actually ports is just like how many people are trying to access that page. So if 2 people, it means index is 2. Inside index I have 2 persons who are trying to access the web worker. So when I'm saying worker.port.add event listener, so here add event listener is a method which is used to bind the events. So I'm saying worker.port.add event listener. Which type of event you are talking about now? Message. Okay, and what will be the function? So I'm saying function e document dot get element by id result dot inner HTML equal to e dot data. Now it meaning to say is whatever message you will get from there. Okay, and you will display that in your container element. After that, you can see one more thing over here. I'm writing worker dot port dot start. This is something new. When I was creating a dedicated web worker, to run that worker, I was not saying that this worker will start, a process will start, because at that time there was only 1-to-1. So I no need to say start or stop. Okay, but here in this case, because maybe more than one web pages are trying to access the same web worker. So if one worker is trying to access that, I need to say start. So because that maybe if I have tried to access 2 pages, so one will start. Okay, so maybe I don't want to start another one. So for that particular individual, I will say worker.port.start. So only that only the request which I get from my page 1 and that worker will start. Okay, and then worker.post message, whenever I want to post a message to that maybe the machine or the page. Okay, remember one thing here, one new thing is port, because I want to ensure that I am getting requests from which place, and for that I need to get the port number. Okay, so that is the port here, worker.start, sorry, worker.port.start and worker.port.post message. Now let's have a look with my example here. First I will run this page just to have a look. I will run this page, and you can see I try to run this page, and I said I was connected with my web worker at this point of time, and this is the first connection I use. Okay, maybe then I have a I have another page. This is another page, and this page is also trying to access the same web worker. Now you can see this was connected at 16:44:47, and that time connection number was 1, and over here the connection number is 2. Okay, Let's have a look for my coding now. Same thing which I explained over there. See, I created this. Okay, and this is in my first page, and this is in my second page. And in both pages, the coding is same. The only difference over here is two files: shared worker demo1 and shared worker demo. The web worker file name is same, shared worker. Okay, so this is my shared worker. Now you can see that how this is happening. I use one variable whose name is connection and self dot add event listener. Self means with current object. I did what I said. I want to add the listener with my web worker and with which event? Connect event. Connect event. Okay. So after that I create a function and I want to get the ports. Now you can see over here where I define one variable port and E means the event dot ports. It will do what? It will give me the zero index. You can see here because I am writing 0 over here. So it will give me what? It will give me the port number, and I will put into one variable port, and the connection variable I said plus plus. Then I said str time because I want to display the time over here. So I said str time equal to get time. So get time is function which I have created here. Get time. I said where today equal to new date, and from today I extract the value of hours, minutes, and seconds. So these values I will put in H, M, and S. Then I want to ensure that when someone is trying to access, for example, the time of my minutes and my seconds, I want that if the time is, for example, 1 second. So I don't want to display 1, I want to display 0, 1. Okay. And same for my minutes. So I want to display 0, 1 minute, 0, 2 minutes. So I am creating a function over here. I passed one parameter and I said if I is less than 10, means if the value of I is less than 10, then what will be the new value? So I said I equal to 0 plus I, and it will return I. So when I call this function over here, this time if the minute is less than 01, less than 9, so he will maybe if the minute is 5, so he will give me 05. Okay, this function will return me this one. So you can see this is a function I called over here. Now I want to add a listener again, and with my port, this port. So I will say port dot add event listener, and with which event message? What will be the function? Inside that I use a port dot post message, means I want to send a message from my web worker to my web page. So here port dot post message, the message is what connect with, and e data. Okay, at, and then start time. So when I run this page, you can see connected with page. You can see this is page 2. Yeah. So this is page 2 from where it is coming. This place, worker dot port dot post message. So if I'm saying page 1, so this will come to this web worker and you will get a message connected with the page 1 at this time, and connection number is connection. So whatever is the value of the connection. sorry, I forgot to share my screen again, full screen. Okay. This is my full screen. I'm sorry, I forgot this. This, you can see this is my shared worker. This example is same as the example which I displayed on the PowerPoint. Okay, this is first file and this is the second file. Second file is this. When I use the second file, everything is same, the coding is same. Only two different file I am trying to use. Okay, this is my web worker. You can see initially I define a variable connection, then I say self.add event listener. I try to connect, so I said connect event, and what will be the function? Function will do what? It will try to access the ports. So he said where ports equal to e dot ports. So if the connection is 1, okay, so it will do what? That value will come to this place, port, and it will increase the value, connection plus plus, okay, and then get time function I use. This is given over here to extract the values from the today variable which I declared using new date, and I will extract hours, minutes and seconds, and as I said, to check whether the value of the minute and second is less than 9. So whenever it is less than 9, I want to use a function here which will add a 0 in front of the number, like 5, 0, 5, 6, 0, 6, like this. So this is simple example. Over here, when I use this line, port dot add event listener. So because see, from here I want to send a message. So I said connected with e dot data. Whatever e dot data means, whatever I will pass in e. So it means when I will call this function here, you can see worker dot post message, and what is the event? E here is the name of the page which, or the message which I want to pass. So I said page 1 because this is the page 1 I want to use, and this is the page 2. So over here you can see page 1, page 2. Okay, if I try to access this with the page 1, so you can find shared web worker connected with page 1, connection number 3. Okay, and if the same program I try to connect with my second file, you can see connected with page 2 and connection number is 4. So this is a simple example of this program, shared workers. Okay, I have created example. In this course I have a limitation of what? I have a limitation of to not able to connect with my web server because I'm not using any server side programming. Otherwise I can display you the example how I will upload the picture on my web server, and my web server is taking much time to upload that picture. Okay, so because I have a constraint of only client side, so I am giving a message, maybe I will try to compute the numbers, or maybe I will try to find some value. Okay, or the example which I use in this is I try to maybe make a quiz. Okay, quiz. So quiz means to say is I will give an online exam, and when I will give an online exam, one time I am trying to perform the exam, and in the background my web worker is counting the time. Okay, counting the time that how much time is left, and whenever that time is finished, that my web page will close. So example is given in your activity, a very small example, and you can see on that screen. Okay, you will find this on your SG, and these examples are given in SG. Activities in the activity guide, and your exercises are given in exercise and explained in your hints. I will explain one example over here regarding this. One activity I will explain. This example is regarding RWD demo and no, not RWD demo. This is regarding RWD lecture activity. Here you will find one example. Can see on the screen there is one exam, use on form of whose. When I click on this, at this place you can see the process will start to counting, and this is happening with the help of the worker. And over here I have to keep the answers. If I give an answer over here, this is a button you can see. When I start the test, this I try to become disabled. When I click on submit button, so it will display me the score. Okay, and if I try to run this page, and I start the web worker here, and now you can see that I will not submit the form, and my web worker is taking care of that thing, and whenever I will see this, you can see whenever the time will finish, it will automatically submitted and close with the help of web worker. As I said, I have a limitation of not using the server side programming. Otherwise I can give you some better examples. This timer is working with the help of web worker. So you can find on the screen. So my program will close. Okay. Nothing much, only these two examples and these two topics inside the this web workers. One another thing I have to explain here is regarding the errors. See this place. At point of time, maybe you want to display some errors. Maybe there is some error on your web worker. So you can see there was one event whose name was on message. So on message means what? If the status is what? Success. Okay. So because you receive the message, that means on message event will fire. But if there is an error, so you will get an on error. That on error event will fire automatically, and you will get you can see document.get element by ID, and I use one element name error message dot text count equal to means I want to display some text on that, and what will be the text? E dot file name means the name of the file. E dot line number means what is the line number where you got an error, and E dot message what is an error message. So this is how I can use a error in my web worker. I repeat again, I have two events. on error, on message. So if you already successfully received the message, on message event will fire, and if the error occurred, you will get on error. This event will fire, okay, and you will get the message in your element, file name, line number, and the message. Another thing here is another example I am saying, explaining one more thing, import a script. For example, just try to understand that you have already created one JavaScript file, okay, and that JavaScript file maybe you want to use in a web worker, okay, maybe in a web worker, or maybe in another JavaScript file. So what we can do is we can use this import script. This import script will help me for what? It will help me to load the external file in my JavaScript file. As you can see on the example given the next slide. See this please. I am trying to use this import scripts, this function. And what is the name of the file? datetimefile.js, and this is my one web worker file. Okay, this is my one web worker file, and in this web worker I want to use what? I want to use datetime file. Why I am trying to use this? Because this function get time, this get time function is given in this file. Okay, so see this get time function. Okay, so this function I want to use in my web worker. So rather than creating that JavaScript file again, you can directly use that. You can just import the script. This is another thing I want to explain here. Then we have some questions. Okay, this is the end of this session. Any questions regarding web worker or shared web worker? Then we can ask a question. Small concept, okay. In this chapter, I try to give an idea how web worker works. Maybe in the next module, when I will write the next course, then maybe I will try to connect my web worker with my web server, so that you can get a very clear picture of this. Or you can perform this using maybe PHP or ASP. Okay, someone requested me for jQuery, sorry, not JavaScript. JavaScript I cannot teach, but yes, I can give you an idea how jQuery works. One thing I will do for you is I have one study material for jQuery, and that whole folder I will send it to you, and small examples are given over there, and you can understand easily, okay. But still, before I go there, I will open that HTML document file for jQuery, so that I can give a brief idea about jQuery. If someone has any doubts regarding the jQuery, please ask the question, okay. All these are examples regarding jQuery. Okay, all these examples. I will share this with you, and you can just try. So you can see on my screen now. Here. This is what I am saying. I have one folder, this jQuery folder. This jQuery folder contains all the examples which we use in our jQuery, all events, all methods, okay, and with their explanation. And The file which I am opening is jQuery, and in this jQuery file, initially I will give an idea what is jQuery, how we use jQuery, and once you got a little idea, this program I will share with you, and you can just open it and then run, and I think you can understand. So what is the use for jQuery? Simple word, it is a lightweight. Okay, why I am using this? Because see, as I said earlier, jQuery is a subsidiary of the JavaScript. When I was using the JavaScript, I need to write so much code, and I want to make it less. So what they did is, using the JavaScript, they create one library which is jQuery, which will help me to perform something which I am also doing in my JavaScript. But here I will write less compared to my JavaScript. What was the purpose to use jQuery? The purpose of the jQuery is to make it much easier to use a JavaScript. Okay, and when I was using a JavaScript to perform one task, maybe I need to write maybe more than one line or two line or three line, and what in my jQuery I try to do is we try to make my code shorten, and we can use that. Okay, simple in simple words, all in all I can say is, to reduce my work and to make the coding simple, we use a jQuery rather than a JavaScript. Now, what I can do with the jQuery, I can use HTML and DOM manipulation, I can use CSS manipulation. See, this thing we covered in our topic, in our course. This thing we covered in our course. This thing we covered in our course. This thing we did not cover in our course, animations and events. This thing I covered in my course, and this thing I did not cover in my course. So, as I said, the profile of my student was he or she must know HTML and jQuery. So, Puneet, I will share all these examples with you once I will done with this session. Okay. What you should already know, you can see I want to make sure you know HTML and CSS and JavaScript before you know the jQuery. Why jQuery now? You can find here there are a lot of other JavaScript frameworks out there, but jQuery seems to be the most popular, and most of the companies are using this. Adding a jQuery to your web page, you have two options. I already explained. Either you can download the jQuery library file in your system, or you can use a CDN. Okay. Both examples are given over here. I told you that when you download the jQuery library file, you have two options again. One is a minified and one is a file which is a development version. Okay, it means second one is in a readable form and the first one is not in a readable form. All white spaces have been removed from that file. Okay, this is the CDN name. If you don't want to download the jQuery, you can just write down this. Okay. Now, what is the syntax of jQuery? This is something the boy Nikhil, please look at here. Whenever I want to use a jQuery, it always begins with a dollar, and over here I will write the name of the selector. That selector may be my element name, or maybe my ID, or maybe the class, or maybe the type. So over here, let's say if I'm saying p tag, for example, look at this place. I said p tag. Okay, so it means over here the selector is what? P. And then action. What action you want to do? Okay, means when you click on something, what you will do? When you put your mouse over on your element, what you will do? So here you can see. This thing I explained, it always defined with dollar, then selector, and then action. Example are given, this dot hide, okay, means hide the current element, See, class test hide all elements with the test class. When I use a ID means I'm using a hash. So hash dot, you can say hash test this dot hide. So hide like this. So if I'm saying this dot hide, hash dot hide, hash test dot hide, so it means this will hide the current element, this will hide the paragraph, this will hide all elements who has a class named test, and this will hide only that element who has a ID, okay, who has a ID with the test name. Okay, I hope that you can see my screen. Varsha, can you see my screen? See one thing here, document.ready. This I already explained in my last session, even in my third session. Whenever I'm trying to use a jQuery, I want that my web page will load in my computer memory first, and then after I want to perform some actions. So first I want to make sure that the whole web page is loaded in the computer memory. If I am not writing this thing, what will happen? Think that some scenarios. Still read this line. You are trying to hide an element that is not created yet. Meaning to say is, maybe for example, you are trying to create one element, and that element you will create at the runtime whenever your page will load. When your page is load fully in your computer memory. Now, if you are not using a document.ready and half of the page is loaded in the computer memory, and you maybe press the button or maybe click the maybe menu and you try to perform the action, it will give you an error. Why? Because that element which you are looking for is not created yet. So I want to ensure that yes, the first whole page will load in computer memory, then I will do something. Okay. Now, how you will create a jQuery code? I will write to start my jQuery code like this, hash document.ready. Sometimes I feel that this is lengthy, I don't want to write this line. So the answer over here is this. You can directly start to write $function. Okay, when you are writing something like this, it means it will behave like this one. Getting my meaning? I want to make sure that page is loaded in the computer memory. Then after that, people will try to perform the actions. So I will use either the first option, either the second option. jQuery selectors, I think I already explained jQuery. What is jQuery selectors? Maybe my HTML elements name. I can use element name. For example, you can see over here when I said document.ready, this is the initial statement which I told you just now, and then I said button, name of the element, it means element selector, and what will be the event? Click will be the event. Means because I will use a button to click, so button will be the element, a click will be the event, and what will be the action? This will be the action. Okay, getting my meaning? So this is with my element selector, same thing which I want to do with my ID. So you will see over here, I will write something like this. Number of times we have used this hash test. Okay, so this is the ID selector. Then class selector, you can see this is a class selector dot. In the given example you can see, and there are some other examples. I already explained this example first, last. Okay, you can look at the SG and go to the page number 2 or go to the page lesson number 7. Okay, sorry, lesson number 2 and lesson number 7. uh, whenever you want to create a function, I told you that you can create a function in your same HTML file, but you need to write that in your script tag. If you are not writing in the same, you can create another JavaScript file, save that file with .js, and you can call that. How to call this? You need to write something like this. Okay. Then is events. I already explained what is the event. Okay. What is a method? I already explained methods. Okay. Many methods. Like we have a ready. Just now I explained a click, double click. Every event has a method to handle that. So you will find these methods here. See, whatever is the event, we have a method also. Focus, blur, height, show, toggle. We use this also. Fade. See, fade in, fade out, toggle, fade to. This fade in we didn't use. Fade is just like we want to give a effect, something which will appear and then fade out as disappear. Okay. When you will see the example, you can understand. See, fade in. When I want to say fade in, what will be the speed, and you can also give the time. Okay. Fade, toggle, all these are the methods. Fade to. Sliding, this we have used this method. Slide down and slide up. See this place. When I say hash flip, it means there is an ID selector. Dot click. Then I will click on that. Hash panel dot slide down. So just like a example I gave to you, that was image gallery. You want to click on that image. Button, that the flower image gallery will appear, and when you click again, then it will disappear. So for that I use slide up. Two functions I use in that program. Animations. So a very a big process. Here you can see everything is given in this file. Some topics we already covered in lesson number 2 and 3 and 7 and 6. You will find in this also. Okay. So I will send these files to you, these examples to you. If you find any problem, you have my email ID. Any problem you find in maybe in responsive web, you can write down to me. Okay. Any course, if you have any problem in programming, from core Java to advanced Java, from C++ to C#, Oracle admin or Oracle database. Okay. Any website development, just feel free to write to me anytime. Okay, I will get back to you. I will send email to you. Maybe I will reply in 1 day, but definitely I will help to you. Any programming language, okay, any technology, you have any problem with any database, SQL Server or DB2 or your Oracle, whether it is your Oracle developer or Oracle admin. If you feel any problem, please come to me. Okay, I will definitely help you. And one more thing, if any suggestion you can give to me regarding this course, okay, I will humbly accept that, and maybe I will try to maybe check next time. I will not make a mistake like that. And this was my first SLT training. It was a new experience for me. I tried from my side best to let you people understand. Yes, someone was writing some message. Any problem? Yes.
Sir?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear.
No, sir, I was just telling that it was a very good training. Thank you so much. Got to
Okay.
learn a lot of things, sir, and thank you for all the projects as well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll definitely work on it and get back to you if I have any doubts.
Yeah. Anytime if you have any problem in any website development, okay, beginning from scratch to end,
Yes, sir.
any technology in website development, if you need my help, just write back to me, okay, and maybe in 1 or 2 days I will send back to you a response, okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
thank you so much. Yeah. Hello. Yes, ma'am, I can hear. I can hear. Yeah. Any suggestion regarding this course? I will, I am just trying to collect the feedback regarding this course. Another thing I'm saying is, if anytime you find any problem in the activities or maybe in the exercises, or to maybe you are not able to understand the concept given in this, please write down to me, okay, and I will help you. Okay, thank you so much. Yes, next person is, yes ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Sir, the question is, we have and easily grab all the things. Don't. That is, I have any doubt in the sense I will. That is, I'll contact to that mail ID. Your mail ID. Don't.
Okay, I'll try to help you in future also. If any case, anytime you need my help, okay, please write back to me. And one thing I want to say that yes, it was my first experience as a SLT trainer, okay, so a new experience for me. Initially I was not aware of this environment, but yes, gradually I am learning this, and I hope I helped you to clear your doubts. Yes, Puneet, can
Hello,
you hear
sir.
me? Yeah. Hello. I can
Hello,
hear.
sir.
I can hear. Yes, I can hear you.
Sir, thank you so much for explaining the concept, sir.
Okay, welcome.
If any, in any future, if you,
Yeah, you can just write to me. Okay, I will definitely help anytime.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Two persons are not here. One is Rajiv, and Ashwin is also not here today. But anyways, okay, I'll wind up this session now, and good luck. I repeat again, work hard for your FCT. Okay, all questions not that hard, but still 40% questions you will find very easy to answer, but 60% questions you will find hard, because the questions which you will find in your FSCT are practical questions. So I suggest you that before you go ahead for your FSCT, at least 2 times try to do each and every practical, whatever exercise I give, whatever activity I give, whatever demo I give, okay, try to go through all these demos at least 1 to 2 times, okay, practically, not theoretically, because most of the questions are practically level, as you know that level 3 and level 4 questions are not the theoretical based, they all are scenario based, and you have to judge or you have to check the coding, okay, according to the scenario. Okay then, bye bye, good luck everyone.